Hello and welcome and a very good afternoon. You're watching Times Now Live with me, Siddharth Talia. Now, after the Union Minister for Agriculture, Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, had slammed the airline Air India for a broken chair, now another incident has landed the airline in trouble. A woman has accused Air India of negligence after her 82-year-old grandmother was left injured at the Delhi airport. In a post on the social media platform X, Parul Kanwar has shared the distressing account, claiming that her grandmother, who had a confirmed wheelchair booking for her flight from Delhi to Bengaluru on the 4th of March, was not provided a wheelchair upon her arrival. According to the granddaughter, the woman who had pre-booked a wheelchair for her grandmother claims that Air India failed to provide the service. She alleged that despite repeated requests, no wheelchair was provided at the airport. As a result, her grandmother had to walk, eventually collapsing and sustaining injuries to her head as well as her lip. The relative described the treatment as poor and criticized the airline for its negligence. Now, Air India appears to now be in damage control following the viral social media post about the incident. In response to the relative's account, the airline issued a statement expressing regret over the situation and offering to discuss the matter over a phone call. Let me go across to Pradeep for more on this. Pradeep, there's been a series of back and forths now after this incident came to light between the airline in question, which is Air India, and Parul Kanwar. Now, Parul Kanwar also responded to the airline saying that when you call me after you've done your due diligence, to which Air India responded by saying we hope for a swift recovery of your grandmother. What's the actual action that's been initiated by Air India on the ground so far following this incident coming to light? Do we know anything about the matter?
See, Parul Kanwar's agitation and anger is obvious. Reason is that this has become a standard operation procedure. They always, whenever there is a complaint against them, they come out with the direct message, and in that it appears, if you go through the content of that message, it appears as if they are shrugging off their shoulders from the responsibility. But something what really happened is unpardonable. It was irresponsible, it was inhuman, and it was unprofessional on their part not to provide a wheelchair to an 82-year-old woman, because here was a senior citizen who could not walk. Even after seeing that she was not able to walk, she was having difficulty. She was limping almost while she had to reach towards the Air India counter. Despite repeated requests, she was not. And she was not asking for a moon, Siddharth. She had something which she was already booked for this wheelchair well in advance. And despite booking wheelchair, she was not providing wheelchair. And what we had got to know from the post of her granddaughter, that there was a spare wheelchair also. And when the family member said that there is a spare wheelchair, why not provide her, because she could not walk. And that wheelchair was also not provided. She was denied that wheelchair also, and finally she collapsed in front of the Air India counter. And when she got injured, even after that, the proper treatment was not provided. She was made to board aircraft, thanks to one crew member who at least provided her ice pack, and now she is at intensive care unit where the family members are concerned maybe there can be chances of the brain bleeding. So that's why she is under treatment, under observation for the last 2 days, because this is the treatment being meted out to the passenger, because passengers are like God in hospitality and protocol industry. But what kind of a treatment you are giving to the passengers and your customers? Because this is not first time, because they had come under fire for their negligence, for their plummeting service and the security that they are providing to the passengers. Last time we saw that Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Chauhan, while he was traveling, he got the broken chair, and so it was a very uncomfortable journey for him. And that time also a very standard direct message was sent to him that we are looking into the aspect. That's one of the reasons that angry granddaughter has said you have to take action, because at the end of the day they have to be accountable, and they have to be accountable. That means they have to initiate action against the people every time. They cannot just come out with that automated message that yes, they regret this thing should not have happened, we are looking into the aspect, because that means nothing is going to happen. And I think this is high time for DJC also to look into this aspect, because at the end of the day everybody is paying. And she was a senior citizen. Second, she's the wife of a decorated lieutenant governor who has fought several wars and who has ensured the safety, security and integrity of the country.
Sure.
Neither you are giving respect to a woman, nor you are giving respect to the...
Well, Pradeep, let me just interrupt you there for a moment. Thanks for the update that you shared with us. But Air India has now responded to the allegations that an 82-year-old passenger was denied a wheelchair at the Delhi airport, leading to a serious injury. In an official statement now, the airline has refuted claims of negligence, stating that the family arrived late and requested a wheelchair just 90 minutes before departure. That's their counterclaim now. Citing peak demand, Air India said that the passenger voluntarily chose to walk and suffered a fall. The airline has maintained that medical aid was offered and that the staff assisted throughout the journey. Air India has now reached out to the family and wished the passenger a speedy recovery. So that's the response now coming from Air India, which claims that assistance was indeed offered and that the wheelchair had been sought only 90 minutes before departure. That's the counterclaim now coming on the part of Air India. We'll also, of course, wait and see as to how the family now responds to this. Now, Air India has been in the spotlight over a series of incidents that have now taken place. In June 2023, the DGCA had to suspend 2 Air India pilots. An unauthorized person was allowed in the cockpit. That was the reason that was cited. In January 2024, a 30 lakh rupee fine had been imposed on the airline. Trained pilots to land on low visibility, not on roster. That was the reason why the fine had been levied. In February 2024, a 30 lakh rupee fine was once again imposed because a wheelchair had not been provided to an elderly passenger who had suffered a heart attack. In March 2024, a fine of rupees 80 lakh was imposed. There was also violation of rules regarding flight duty time limitation. Let's also now give you some details of why Air India has been in the eye of the storm. We're also, of course, opening up our phone lines so that viewers can give their responses as well. But what we're currently seeing in the light of the latest incident is a series of claims and counterclaims now being made. We have Vipul Saxena, aviation expert, now joining us as well. Mr. Saxena, thank you for speaking to us. Air India now claims and has issued a denial saying that the wheelchair on the part of the senior citizen had been sought only 90 minutes before departure. They've also categorically issued a denial saying that medical aid was indeed given. The family claims that one particular Air India personnel did in fact rush to the assistance of the passenger belatedly. Air India claims that medical assistance was in fact extended to the passenger. So now we're seeing an allegation and a refutation as well. What needs to be done, sir, in the light of what's come to light?
See, there are 2 things into it. One is that Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, whose seat was broken, and till now no action has been taken. I mean, no inquiry report has come in, no action has been taken, no head has rolled. What has happened, nobody knows. And this is what I was expecting, that nothing will happen. The minister will keep crying and nothing will happen. And this is what is happening with Air India. They're totally careless about the passengers. And in this case particularly, even if the request was given 90 minutes before, I'm sure Air India, being a responsible airline, they must be keeping at least one chair spare. Why can't they keep one chair spare? It's not difficult to organize from other airlines and all that. So even if some passenger is not asked for a chair and he meets with the accident in flight or somewhere, I'm sure they should be able to meet the requirement. So it is basically the problem of attitude, not the protocol, which passengers followed or not followed. So problem with Air India is not the protocol, it's the problem with the attitude towards the passenger, which is very, very careless. That needs to be corrected through some kind of mechanism where immediate compensation should be given to the passenger by regulator, not by the airline, because the airline will never give it. So unless we come out with some kind of policy where if passenger has not been given complete care or any support which is expected, a punitive action and also immediate compensation should be given to the passengers.
And Mr. Saxena, yeah, just as a follow-up to that, in terms of accountability to be placed on what's actually transpired, how does one proceed to ensure that the people responsible are actually taken into account?
See, the thing is that there are procedures laid down, but the thing is the investigation system is so outdated, where airlines people are involved. If the airlines is at fault and you involve those people only in the investigation, how do you expect a justice or fair trial? It will never happen. It has to be done by some independent body, and first thing, it has to be a speediest process so that the passenger gets the relief. I can quote. I'm in touch with one of the passengers of Air India who traveled from Delhi to New York in 2023, and they sent me a mail. 76-year-old couple, and the seat of passenger just before them had collapsed.
Yeah.
And the couple traveled all 16 hours without any relief by the crew. Ultimately, 2 hours before the landing, the lady went to the toilet and she saw there were 2-3 seats vacant, and they themselves shifted there. But airline neither supported. They filed a complaint, but till date, now 3 years, no response by the air.
Okay. Right, Mr. Saxena. Accountability is the need of the hour. Action needs to be taken. What we have in this story so far is the version that's been put out by Parul Kanwar about what her grandmother had to suffer, and the response now coming in from Air India, a denial as well. So that's where the issue stands as of now.